Hey, and welcome to the Geekshow Helpdesk, where we talk
That's
about
us.
tech, gadgets, sciencey stuff, and birding.
Birding, that's right. Or
No,
smoking.
no birding.
Or
or
World
rock
War
dig
II.
dogging or whatever
I
it is.
went
rock,
to
rock hounding.
I
Rock
went
hounding.
to Tracy
Rock
Aviary.
dogging.
Rock
dogging.
dogging. What's that?
Maybe
That's what
it's
Owen does.
rock.
Keep it in the bedroom, Lando. We don't want to hear about it.
So close, Lando.
It's,
You went to
Anyway.
Tracy
it's like
I wanna
bird
hear-
watching
I
with rocks.
want to hear his Tracy Aviary story.
Yes,
Did
please.
you see a cool bird when you were like,
I
wow.
saw all the cool birds. I'm a certified birder now. I need to
Telling
buy
you.
a very expensive camera and take pictures of only
I'm
birds.
telling you.
Ooh. We can
I'm
we can
telling-
hobby together, Jaron.
Are
I'm
you in,
telling
Tony?
you.
Are you in?
I mean, I'll see whatever birds are around when I'm
He's-
sitting in my hammock. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, I don't know if Tony's quite there yet. He went the smoke and meats route,
Once you-
and probably
That's what I did.
World
Smoke-
War II route.
Once
No,
you
no, I
see your
didn't do
first
both.
cool
No
bird,
way.
that'll all change. We were in California a couple
I've
weeks
seen
back.
lots of cool birds.
Have you? So we were watching pelicans, and pelicans are first. First of all, they're dope birds to begin with.
They
Second
are
of all, if you watch them
awesome.
hunt, they like fly around and they like drop out of the air, just go poof, straight down in the water, nose
Dude,
dive, and then you see them come up and
dude.
you go gump and eat the fish. It's
I
so
watched
dang
one.
cool.
I watched one grab a pigeon. On,
That's
on,
dope.
on TikTok.
When-
It was there.
When I was in Italy, in Venice, we saw a seagull attack a pigeon.
Yes.
Held it in its
Viciously.
beak, like a seagull's tiny beak. It was holding a giant pigeon. It was nuts.
Vicious. They're
Yeah,
vicious.
they
That's
are.
so cool.
true.
Birds are
It was.
cool. They're
It
like
was
little
awesome.
dinosaurs.
Anyway, let's get going. Let's get
They're
going
all-
on this
all
show
drones.
about
Speaking of-
birding.
Speaking of vicious.
Speaking of vicious, we got Owen.
Hey, that's me. Vicious. I'm vicious over here. It's just a fun word to say. Vicious.
You look happy.
You know what? He does.
I've had a lot of stress relieved recently, and not in the way that not the way that everybody just thought.
Yeah, it sounded very suspicious.
Yeah.
Sounded like
I-
rock dogging.
yeah. So it's better. So follow me on Twitter at Technoin. There you go.
Hey, and we have someone named Tony Quad
Hey,
T.
that's me. Jaron, since you're running the show, you can tell me where you want the people to be in the window.
I
Do you
want
me
them
to move
exactly
anyone?
where they're at.
Okay, well there we go.
So
That's a good guess
set.
then.
Yep.
Yep. Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony or on other Geek Show thingies.
And my esteemed panelist, who is my favorite among them all, Lando.
Speechless.
I don't even know what to say right now.
You broke him, Jaron. It's too early for that.
What is some? Here's what's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna get blindsided here in a second by Jared. He's being
Guaranteed.
way too
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
That is Lando, right? I can't tell if the shading from his camera is kind of weird, but
Well, yeah, I turned off my lights and Jared said it looked better, so I kept it because I love Jared. He's my best friend, my new best friend. We're gonna go birding
Oh.
together.
Two
We're
for
gonna go
two.
get our cameras and get birding. So yeah, my name's Lando. I do Lando things.
2 for 2. Lando can't
So
tell when
amazing.
Jaron is lying to him.
You know, I'm gonna take it
Don't
because
try
it feels
to
good.
turn this, Tony.
Feels good.
Speaking-
I like it.
You're
Speaking
jealous.
of, it's Jaron.
That was,
Hey.
that was my job.
host.
That was my job. I was gonna do it. Do my job, Tony.
I'm running the show today. This is Jaren. You can find me on Twitter at Jaren. All right, we don't have any emails today, so let's just go. Let's just go with it. And as always, there's AI news. Let's get that out of the way first.
Tis the season.
And,
by tis the season, I mean all the time.
Yeah. And
That's
really,
AI.
the big winner of AI is the person who makes the shovels, which is NVIDIA.
Holy moly. So today, as of this recording, 6/18/2024, NVIDIA is now the #1 wealthiest company in the world. They beat Apple, they beat Microsoft, and as an NVIDIA fanboy, I like hearing this, but as a logical person who pretends to understand corporations and markets,
Oh, they're overvalued.
oh man, they are super, super overvalued right now.
Oh,
like
yeah.
to an insane extent. They just had a 10-to-1 stock split, 1-to-10. I mean,
That's
Yeah.
bonkers.
and
they still-
even after the 1-to-10 stock split, their stock is up like 45 or 50% just in the last
Holy
2
moly.
weeks.
Owen,
Like, it is.
where
it
were
is
you?
just insane.
I
So,
got some 1070s lying around. If anybody wants a 1070,
Does this mean they'll discount the 5090 when it comes out?
Absolutely not. You don't stay at the top
No.
like giving away things at a good
No.
price.
Tony, don't
All
ruin
you
this.
do
Look
is,
at Apple.
all you do is use it to say we are
That's
the
right.
best, though.
When was
Obviously.
the last
In
time
case-
Apple gave anything away for free? Doesn't
Exactly. In case you were wondering, the number that put them at the top, their market cap is 3.3 trillion with a T.
happen. Trillion?
If you want to be specific, 3.343
Who cares?
trillion.
Who cares at that point? Just say 3 trillion.
But that means you're discounting $343 billion out
Yeah,
of
but
the
we're talking the
equation.
trillions. That's a rounding error. Who cares?
That's just
rounding error.
absurd amounts of money. It
Why
boggles
would you
my
say?
mind.
Why would you say they're overpriced? Just because it's just hardware and there's no way it can possibly be that valuable? Or supply and demand's
no,
a real
it's-
thing,
it's
right? Like everybody
100%.
wants a piece of the
No,
AI.
no. It is 100% because the AI market is so nascent at this point that there's no way to tell if NVIDIA is actually going to be the one that continues to move the needle.
Well,
right
they
now
did-
it is.
Isn't
and
the new chip they just made like the AI King right now?
it is,
The
but
new server thing they got.
but there's lots of other companies pushing for that. They want to be on top of that hill.
But
And
who's even
I-
close? Is AMD close? Like there's nobody.
Nobody.
Even in throwing distance of NVIDIA as far as come to market stuff, is there? There's
I'm
no
just saying.
competition. I
I'm
know
just
that.
saying.
I know that makes a grumpy Tony. No
No.
competition.
That even if you
Makes a grumpy
discount
Lando.
even if you discount that, or like even if you were to set that aside, the lack of competition, we still don't know how long the AI boom is going to last for. This is exactly like what happened with the crypto boom.
Yeah.
Their stock went through the roof during the crypto boom, and then the crypto bubble burst, and their stock sank back down to more realistic, prices. And I think we're going to see the same thing here.
Oh,
I don't
Well,
know.
if you're
okay,
s-
Tony.
once
Tony,
AI
okay.
once AI levels off,
If you're
and
sad you didn't buy
deflates.
Nvidia, just bet against Nvidia now. You're still good.
every single
short
article,
NVIDIA?
every single
Yeah.
article I've seen about the stock market says to do that right now.
Really?
Yes.
They think there's going to be a
Interesting.
correction.
Yep.
There's going to be a market correction.
It's
I
a
don't
bubble,
know. I
for
don't know.
sure.
Just
It is.
because
It's 100%
I don't
a
know
bubble.
because Nvidia's their hardware is far and away superior. It don't get me wrong. It probably
is.
will. It probably will correct. They're overvalued, but it's not going to be a massive correction because there's no
No.
competition
I
for what they're
think
for
well,
what they're.
okay.
I agree with
supplying.
Owen. I agree
don't
with
know.
Owen.
Think about it this way, though. In the last, let me see if I can find the number here. In the last 18 months, I think they have gained over 300%, which
Yeah,
is
but I think-
unheard of. Like,
I
it's,
think-
it's insane.
I don't think you're completely wrong, Tony, but I don't think you're completely right. I think there's going to be a correction, but it's not going to be a massive correction
No.
because
think
AI
I think
is
it
more
will.
more
Well-
understandable than crypto is. More people are using it, and it's a bigger
Actually has
buzzword.
has a real market value.
Does
it's
it?
actually-
Right, but whenever
It
new
does. It
technology
does.
comes
It does
out,
something, yeah.
there's always a bubble, and then
Exactly.
investors finally get their crap together and realize, oh, it's good, but it's not that good.
I don't think you're going to see as fast as a correction as you did with the crypto bubble
Right.
bursting, but I think at some point in the near future, you're going to start seeing the correction happen at a slower pace, but it's going to happen.
I don't know.
You know, and
Until
this
there's
is,
somebody
you
can
know,
compete
don't
on
get
the
me
hardware
wrong.
scale. I
This
don't know.
is all you're missing the point, Owen. It's not about if they're the best or not. It's just the fact that it's a bubble in general.
Well, that's
Like,
why
you can-
that's
you
why
could
they
be
that's why
number-
the bubble's created because they are the best, and there's nobody to even
But
make people
at some
consider it.
point AI is going to level off, or people are going to realize this isn't the god mode of the new technology.
All AI is a computer that gets things wrong all the time
That's
in
the
a
thing.
convincing way.
You
Well, the
use
LLMs,
AI,
LLMs are, but not what AI is doing because they're not just using it for LLMs, which get it wrong. They've also created like 3 new cures for cancer. They've also
Yeah.
created like
cures.
new molecule.
That word is doing a lot of heavy
Sorry,
lifting.
Whoa,
sorry.
Owen.
Therapies.
Okay, I
Therapies
think
for
as
cancer,
host,
but-
I need to silence Owen right now.
all right.
Let's
I'm
move on.
on Team Owen on this conversation. I think AI is a much bigger deal than we all realize it is.
AI's not just doing LLMs. If you're just doing
But-
LLMs, I would say
Once
yeah,
once
for
we
sure.
start throwing out words, cures for cancer.
Here's the thing.
Look
though.
it up.
all of the hype, all of the.
Why is the burden of proof on me? You're the one that brought it up.
Because you're the one that's challenging and I'm lazy. I
But
don't care enough.
what caused the bubble? LLMs.
LLMs,
Yeah.
100%.
For sure.
See, I don't think you're wrong. It's a bubble. I just don't think the pop is going to be that massive of a pop. I think it's going to be a little bit of a pop, not a lot.
LLMs
Well, that's
brought
basically
the
crypto was a little bit of a pop too. It didn't massively shake the
So
economy at all.
That's
Right.
not wrong at all. Crypto was a huge pop, but it brought a ton of attention to the technology of Bitcoin or of blockchain.
Yeah,
and
look
I
how
think
many
the
people are
AI's
using it now.
LLM. Tons of companies are using blockchain. Tons
Not
of
like
companies.
AI.
No,
way more
but
using
blockchain-
AI.
but-
That's my
but
point.
blockchain for data redundancy and stuff is very widely used privately, not for any type of crypto.
Sure,
If you
sure.
uncouple crypto and blockchain, just the technology.
What technology is using it right now?
Banks
or are they still developing
Facebook,
it?
Facebook has a blockchain that they're not doing money with. They're just doing it for their databases.
Yes, I understand what a blockchain is.
Okay, so
Do you?
there's one.
Do they?
Yeah, go look that up too.
Burden of proof is on you, man.
I don't care enough.
All right. Speaking of LLMs and AI, researchers claim that GPT-4 has passed the Turing test.
no way.
And for those not
That's
in the
point
know,
I'm making. So much of this AI
Buzz.
LLM stuff is hype.
I
You
think
go
so.
and use it, and the problem with it is you have to check everything that it tells you to see if it's actually feeding you correct information.
Yeah.
And at
And
that
that-
point, you
that
might as well have
takes away
just
the
looked it up
usefulness.
yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on, Tony. Hold on. I want to make a point here because I think it's important. You and I both understand that, right? We understand that AI is not always getting things right, and you must check. However, I think the general population at large, generally speaking, of course, they don't get that. I
See,
think people are lazy
That's
and dumb.
an even bigger problem.
Exactly.
Right.
because
That's
they've
an
been
even
told
bigger
that it's-
problem.
Right, but it's
Which when it goes wide, that it's not right enough of the time.
so
It's
It
going
has,
to
like,
take.
it's like the housing
It's-
market
it's gonna
and how
tank.
it crashed the economy in the mid to late 2000s.
here's
No one knew that these subprime mortgages were bad.
I
The-
firmly
the-
believe. Yeah,
The public who
you're
couldn't
comparing
afford them,
apples
sure,
and
they
apples and
loved them.
donuts. It doesn't work.
but I don't think
I understand
it
your
would ever
point,
have.
but I don't like it.
I don't think it would ever have the same effect as the housing market did. Of course,
Right.
That's
That's
a
what I'm-
much
that's
much.
what
Well, it depends on
bigger-
how big it
Well-
grows and how integrated it gets into society
I
and
don't-
technology.
I don't think it'll ever get that big.
I wanna-
in the near future.
I want to make another point here, just real quick, since we're talking about it. One of the things I've been thinking about a ton lately is the new Google AI. Right? Google. Here's my
Gemini.
prediction.
We're working
for
with
the next
that where I'm at.
Talking about Bard.
Gemini.
Google
Gemini.
AI, whatever,
They
whatever,
changed the name, right?
whatever
Gemini.
the nonsense they
Yeah.
use in their
You're right,
homepage
you're right.
or on their Google results. Here's my prediction: in the next 5 to 10 years, the internet as we know it today will be a completely different landscape. And here's why: Google's AI is going to change it. You will no longer need to click links. Google is going to. This was they talked about at their conference. Google will do the Googling for you. No longer will you need to go click other links. You're just going to stay on Google's webpage. This has been happening for years, right? You say, hey, what's the weather like outside? And Google tells you, oh, it's this. You didn't have to click weather.com for that. You didn't have to go to any of their websites.
pulled it from
You
there.
Yeah,
stayed
you want to
on
know
Google.
why? You want to know why? AI is not involved with that. They just scrape the data off AccuWeather's website.
Well, that's
and
that's
AccuWeather
exactly.
hates that they do that because
No,
they
Google does that
lose-
anyway
100
without AI.
And that's
Yeah.
my point. Everyone and AI just takes it to the next level. In the future, our kids will never leave Google when they interact with the internet. They'll just use Google.
I don't think so. I think the companies are going to protect themselves, and I think scraping data from the internet it's not going to be free anymore.
Okay, bringing in back
Anyway.
this useless
It's an
conversation.
interesting
Back
thing
to
think
my
about, though, isn't it,
story.
Owen?
This is an interesting conversation, Jaron.
Researchers, yeah, but we've been doing it for 12 minutes already. Researchers claim that GPT-4
Not
has
true.
passed the Turing test. The Turing
Oh, yeah.
test, it was
Did it get a lawyer?
thought up by Alan Turing in 1950, where pretty much humans talk to a computer, and if a computer can trick you into thinking it's human, then that passes the Turing test. So they had a
mean,
1960s era
Trick who?
AI program called ELIZA, so not very convincing. Probably GPT 3.5 and GPT 4. This doesn't even include GPT 4.0, which is the newest one. Anyway, GPT 4, people thought it was human 54% of the time, which is
More than half.
more than half.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, no one's going to check the results. They're just going to say, "Oh yeah, that sounds right,"
Yeah.
and move on with their
They're-
lives.
And
we're already doing that,
watch
right?
our society go
Yeah.
further down the
I didn't say it was
toilet.
going to be good, Tony.
I mean, misinformation campaigns have already figured that out the last election cycle, right? Like,
Yep.
just because AI is doing it doesn't mean that people are any smarter or dumber. It's just somebody else is doing
Well,
it.
my
and people are
prediction
still
is going to
falling
be a
for it.
race to the bottom. AI will be AIing all the content, right? No longer will humans be looking at human-generated content. AIs will be looking at AI-generated content. It'll be just a circular
I think that's my
doomed
favorite
spiral
video.
of death.
I think that's one of my favorite videos to watch right now is having two AI assistants and
talk to each other.
You start two phones together and then they like
Oh yeah.
argue with each other about
Yeah.
who's more helpful. Oh, it's so great.
Tangentially related to AI, Microsoft is postponing Windows recall.
We knew this.
That's right.
So many articles, right? Oh,
Yeah, last week Microsoft said, "Oh, we've made some security enhancements. We've listened to people, but a couple days later, okay, we're not going to roll it out at all at the moment."
I knew from the beginning of the protest that this was the only way they would be able to save face is if they did not push it out.
because
yet.
they tried to do opt-in. They're like, okay, fine. You have to
Yep.
opt in, and people were like, if it's
No.
there. If it's there, that means you can opt us in with any update going in the future.
Yeah.
We turned it on for you to test, and you
That-
just didn't turn it off. That's your problem.
that
Buyer
option
beware.
that option lasted about 5 days before
Oh,
they
yeah,
announced this.
Really makes me wonder, like, how their project teams are organized. Like, were there no naysayers?
Yeah, no
no
checks
one
and
that brought up
balances.
concerns.
Is
I
this
think
human
this was just a
AI
swing.
over again? All over
No,
again?
I just think this was a swing for the fences, and they were just like, let's send it and see if what
Let's
the
send it.
pushback's actually like. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
there was
maybe, yeah.
nobody on the level that said that this is not going to get attacked immediately for privacy concerns. Windows is already Swiss cheese when it comes to security. And you have to have all sorts of antivirus and whatever to protect it, just the operating system. There was no way Windows recall saving your data, your mouse, your screenshots every 5 seconds or whatever
Yeah.
was going to work ever. Anyway.
Yeah, they're going to try to make it work.
Yeah, they swung
I
for the fences and they
I
got
doubt
told.
they'll pull it forever.
The problem is, I think it was probably only a few loud people in the I mean, by a few, I mean like maybe a few 100,000. It was still a lot, but like when you look at the grand scheme of the millions, hundreds of millions of people that use Microsoft products, I guarantee you a lot of them just aren't plugged into the news stream and would
For
not
sure.
even know.
No, they didn't
you
give
know?
two toots.
And
Yeah.
so,
well, and that's
that-
part of why you have to watch the active crowd, you know,
Yep.
because they end up speaking for the majority
And if you
because they're
don't-
the only ones
yeah.
paying attention.
yeah,
in
and if they
situations
don't,
like
that
this.
could have gone out. Like,
Mhm.
no. Oof.
Sometimes the active crowd's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad
Sometimes
thing.
it's an internet mob.
It's true. Agreed.
Shifting gears a bit, want to talk about something that we mocked Owen ruthlessly for many times. And this could be vindication for his.
No.
Jared.
This technically should go under a battery segment, a BS. Because scientists, here's the headline, and all I should read is the headline and then just mic drop because I'm right. But scientists develop
already do
ultra
that.
thin, scientists develop ultra thin battery for smart contact lenses that could be charged by tears.
Is this one of those 3
Nice.
cures for cancer? Is this the same
So
thing?
what
Maybe.
about those
I don't
people
know,
who don't
probably.
have feelings?
Sorry.
No tears.
Well, spray some pepper in your face.
Asking for a friend.
Oh, right. You would. Oh, I see.
You psychopath.
So basically, this has to do with the power supply, right? Like Tony made a really good point about the last context that were really cool. Like, how do you do the battery stuff? Whatever. But
Not important.
Whatever.
Unimportant
pretty,
details.
yeah, like whatever. It looked cool, and there was guys in lab coats. And if you don't believe me, go look that up. So they were doctors. They were experts.
Doctors of something.
Something. So one of the guys here, Lee, I want to say Lee. I'm gonna butcher the name. Lee Seok Woo. He started this and wondered about smart contacts after watching Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise? Yeah.
And he was like, "How can I?" You know,
It was
he's
probably
like,
the Jeremy Renner one.
"Oh
Wait,
true.
no, I'm thinking.
Tom Cruise is still in it. You're
I
thinking
know,
of
I'm thinking
Bourne.
Bourne. Yep, you're
Yeah.
right.
But Jeremy Renner was a fantastic addition to the Mission Impossible
was.
movies. I wish he was in more of them, but
Agreed.
apparently he didn't want to get killed, so he said no to
Yeah,
Mission Impossible
He's like,
6.
they're just gonna kill off my
7.
character. I'm out.
And so this Lee, the guy named Lee, he wanted to take basically just the battery part of this and kind of solve that problem for smart contacts. If smart contacts come to market, they're going to need a power source.
So he's not interested in developing the contact itself.
Just the power
source.
Just the power source and the battery, how it lays in there. And so he said the thickness of their battery is 0.2 millimeters. That's just about twice the thickness of a human hair. And
How thick is the normal contact?
0.5.
Yeah.
Wow, so this actually fits in.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they, of course, that makes sense because if they're going to get this to fit on a contact with any other type of hardware, they have to be one of the smallest components.
True.
But they show the different methods that you can charge a battery that's made this way. You can use a wire method, basically to give it a charge or whatever. But you take these contacts out and you put them in glucose, and you can charge them that way with sodium chloride ion. So basically, it's like your contact solution will also become a charging solution. The exchange of ions would charge the batteries, but he says there is another unusual way to power the battery. Tear solution also contains glucose, which means while you're wearing the contact lens, your tears can also charge the battery. And so if you cry more, then you can charge your battery more.
It actually says that in the article.
It actually says that.
That is a quote.
If you cry more, then you can charge your battery more.
In today's world, that's easy to do.
It is. You just look out anyway. But it says the capacity and voltage is still super low. Obviously, with that size, they're always going to compete. Like they're always going to have to try and work with those laws of physics to make it viable. But it can do can produce a voltage of approximately 0.3 to 0.6 volts. A AA is 1.5 volts, so output's insufficient for powering data storage or internet connection, but they can use. They're saying we use glucose as biofuel, and so one of the things that glucose is also used in that way, diabetics can use it to check blood sugars and stuff. And so it could be some way to passively monitor diabetes numbers without having to have like a patch on your arm. You could just wear a contact lens or something. I don't know.
Do those patches poke your skin, or are they just sticky?
I've been using one. So I've been using one since I got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
And they insert a little. I mean, it's a tiny thread basically, and it sits right under the skin and just continuous glucose monitor. So. There you go.
All right, I got a BS2. This one I find.
When do you not BS?
Even less believable than the contact lens. Lando, I hear that and reject it. Okay. Anyway, TDK, which is Apple's battery supplier, they claim.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the CD manufacturer was back. Yeah, TDK is back, baby.
They didn't make mini discs also.
Mini discs.
I seem to remember TDK mini discs. I love the different colors of the mini discs.
Media producer, media storage, whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, they have claimed a huge battery breakthrough, solid state battery technology. It says it has an energy density of 1,000 watt hours per liter, which is 100 times more than its conventional solid state battery.
Sure, they do.
Which is also safer than a typical lithium ion. So it's like we've said for many, many years, the holy grail of batteries. It sounds like it's going to initially be like a coin cell battery. So that'd be sweet if your Apple Watch could suddenly last like a month.
Oh my gosh, how sweet would that be?
Would be sweet.
It would be sweet. I have questions about this though. Like if it actually came to fruition, would we not be able to take phones and like watches on planes anymore because of that 100 watt hour limit?
Well, you're looking at it on one end of the spectrum. The other spectrum is they make the battery just a lot smaller, and you get a little bit more runtime than you already have, and you just have a really small battery that makes sure things.
It doesn't
really
matter
light.
the size though. It's like for laptops, they can go up to 99.9 watt hours.
Right.
They can't go to 100 because of the plane problem.
They won't do a 100 watt hour battery. They'll do a smaller battery that's 99.9 watt hours, and
but I want a bigger battery.
It'll just take up a tiny amount of space in your laptop, and your laptop will be much lighter.
See, I think that's an area where the FAA is going to have to adapt to new technology.
I would hope so, because if solid-state batteries are
they're so
significantly
much safer. Yeah,
That's
they're
true.
not going to blow up. I mean, I think they're just going to have to prove that and get the policy adjusted.
But
That's the
being-
hard part, though, getting the
that could be
politicians
years,
to.
right?
Yeah.
That
agree.
being said, though, I guarantee you they would not jam a same size battery in the laptop. They would want to save money by giving you less battery, but still giving you longer run times because.
Well,
of the
if it's
way
100
the technology
times more
works. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean.
more capacious, like
You
I
gotta
don't
put-
want a 100 times 100, whatever that is. I'm not an accountant.
Wait a minute.
Maybe like
Yeah,
a
you are.
3-4 times higher. I don't need 100
Right.
times higher.
And then
Right.
and then they would have extra space to put like IR blasters back in phones.
oh,
and
could you
headphone jacks.
imagine? Like we could have IR blasters on all sides of
Just
the laptop.
all like 5 of them for all
You
directions.
could run them all the time, and you'd never hurt the battery.
See,
You'd be blasting
guys,
IR 24/7.
I know you're mocking me, but I love it.
I was feeding into your dream. And I
Yep,
was mocking
we
you.
would
delusion.
never. We would never.
I would never.
All right. We got some space stories here. 2 from Lando, 1 from Owen.
Yeah, let's do space things.
Go
You got
Lando. Go Lando.
It's your birthday.
So we've talked a lot on this podcast about how Elon Musk is both good and bad, right? He does cool things like the SpaceX stuff and the Tesla stuff, but he also does really dumb things like the Twitter stuff. And he's just kind of a garbage human being.
And the way he treats his employees.
Yeah, just bad stuff.
Basically,
Well,
he's-
And humans in
Yeah.
general.
Humans in general.
I
Except
have
for his
one.
baby mamas.
I have something to add to the bad list, right? So, SpaceX Starlink is really, really cool, right? Bringing internet to the masses, doing all the cool things. Turns out there's a downside, and not a small one either.
Are we going to
So
talk about the
the-
astronomy stuff?
Yeah, the Starlink satellite mega constellation operated by SpaceX may be hindering the recovery of Earth's ozone layer. So if you remember
this
back
is
in the
This is a new one.
Of course it
Okay.
is.
right, so research suggests that satellites release harmful aluminum oxide particles as they burn up in the atmosphere, which contributes to significantly more ozone depletion. So if you remember a number of years ago, 10 plus years ago, you heard everything like the ozone, oh no, the ozone, we got to save the ozone, right? Turns out the world came together and saved the ozone. Like we started getting rid of the chemicals and the bad stuff that was hurting.
We did actually start healing something. We fixed something.
As a human race, we did something
I-
good
hang
for
on,
your
hang on a
Earth. I
That's
know.
impressive.
Hang on.
That's a
I
Hang on.
know.
We didn't fix anything. We stopped hurting it, and it healed
yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Right.
We took our foot off its neck. There's a slight difference,
exactly.
but not much. You know.
So if you look at the data over time, like things started getting better, much better. But then recently, things have been going back down, and it's as bad as it has ever been because of Starlink.
Are you
And it
sure
makes me
about
sad.
that?
Yeah.
Because
Why?
the article
Why?
says the problem only happens when the satellites come back into reentry.
Right, but
When
it's
they're
still
up
hurting
there-
the
here's
ozone.
what I say.
When
Tony.
they're when they're up there, they're not hurting anything. And how
It's
many
when
of them
they-
have come back
right.
down so far?
But they're saying they can measure the chemical,
they
the metals in
still
the air, and
die
they're
all the
saying
time.
There's
the
thousands
presence
of
of a-
those, though.
the presence
Right.
of aluminium increased in the atmosphere by almost 30% in 2022 alone. So I don't know how fast or how bad these. Obviously, there's some decay too from them being up there, but I don't know how many are falling out of the sky or burning up. I don't know that.
I don't
They
think they're burning
report
up while
that.
they're up there for sure.
No, but
well,
just like I don't.
yeah,
I don't know
they
how many
when
fall
they
out of
you know?
orbit though.
how many? I
And
wonder how many
they
have come
plan
down
for
in the
that.
last
Yeah.
2 years?
I wonder if
I
I could
don't
Google
know.
that. Hold on, let me Google that.
Yeah.
But
Because
the
it
question
does
is,
say
but the question
specifically-
if there's 6,000 there now, and they're losing X amount, and the amount of aluminum in the atmosphere is raised by 30%, what's
Wow.
that going to be like if he ever hits his target of 15,000? Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
will
he's
that?
gonna add a lot.
you know?
a lot more.
So that's their concern. This is a little bit of a doom and gloom article in that way because they don't have the data yet, but it's like a little speculative. So
How do I search for this? This is how many have been decommissioned? How many have
How many
burned
fall
up?
into atmosphere?
yeah, just say burn up. How many satellites burn up in a year? Anyway,
Owen, why don't you go with your story while
Okay.
Lando's looking that up?
I don't like doing
Yeah.
the live Googling thing, but I'm curious.
but you want to know? Well, here we go. There's been more news since I put my article up here, but the Boeing.
Okay, stop. So
Oh,
according
found
to
it.
QZ.com, if the service, so again, I'm not leaving Google. I'm staying on Google's webpage, not actually clicking a link. I'm staying on Google's
So
webpage,
we know
which
it's
is
true.
concerning.
So they scraped
Um,
their website.
Right, which is bad news for them.
Yep.
If the service scales up as hoped, more than 8,000 satellites could disintegrate above us every year.
8,000 a year?
8,000 a
That's
year.
a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. What's that of? Like, what's the total? Does he have like 28 or something planned? Like,
He has tens of thousands planned.
So
Yeah.
right now there
For the
are, as of
total
May 2024, there are
installation.
6,078 satellites in orbit, of which
They are
6,600
smaller
are working.
satellites.
Yeah,
not,
so
not
that's
huge ones.
That's another thing here in the article. They said they
not
found
the
that
V2s though. The V2s
they found
are
that
big
a
boys.
550-pound satellite generates roughly 66 pounds of aluminum oxide particles during re-entry, which would take 30 years to drift down into the stratosphere.
Right.
So the question at that point is, how big are the satellites? Are they 550 pounds? The old ones were not, for sure, V1s.
Yeah.
The
I think that's
V2s are
the
bigger,
V2s,
though.
Yeah.
Either way, it's bad news bears for the Earth. That's the point. The world sucks. Everything's bad. I hate my life.
So
Go ahead, Owen.
according to this, if SpaceX continues to grow as planned, the level of aluminum oxides in the atmosphere could increase by 646% over natural levels every year,
Yeah.
Bad news bears. I told
which
you.
is a lot.
You guys
Yeah.
didn't believe
that
me.
seems okay.
But the there's some news. There's some numbers here. SpaceX is set to deorbit 100 older Starlink satellites. This was in February of 2024.
This year.
So yeah, this year. And you guys, did any of you guys catch the Aurora Borealis?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So those big, huge solar storms really do a number on the Starlinks. They cause them to age out earlier. So depending on solar flares and stuff like that too, there's some factors. But just in February they're set to deorbit. That's what they call that. Over just about 100 Starlink satellites. So could be a problem.
Big time problem.
All right, Owen, what do you
Just
got?
a little aluminum, just a little Alzheimer's. Oh, Starliner. Remember the under promised, under delivered, over
Can I sneak
promised.
this in real quick?
Yeah.
NASA.gov. Ozone hole continues to shrink in 2022. NASA and NOAA scientists say.
In 2022.
So
Well, it's been
still,
2 years.
It's still getting smaller.
Change
is
your-
what we're saying.
change
So
your-
it's still doing good.
Change your Google search to a month ago. You got to add a time limitation because we need to know it's 2024.
2024. Continue, Owen.
Oh, so Starliner. You remember the giant thing that is over-engineered, but
Boeing, yeah.
Boeing Starliner, and they were going to cancel the launch, but then they didn't cancel the launch because they're like, look, we don't have any more good grace. We got to send it. And well, they made it. They made it to the thing, the space station, IIS, International ISS. There you go. And they docked successfully, even though they had the thruster computer go out. They were able to do some manual controls because that's one of the things that, being NASA that built it, they can't fail fast. They have to build redundancies for everything, multiple redundancies usually. And so they were able to dock, but now and it worked. They've got people up there, and I don't think their rocket is recoverable. Their booster's not set to be
No,
recoverable.
they're single use.
Which is insanely crazy for how much those cost.
Yeah.
But
It's
that was
wild.
probably I mean, that's a golden rocket. Anyway, but now the return of the astronauts is being delayed. This is the third time it's been delayed.
That's so
because
bad.
the
Oh.
capsule is leaking helium.
Oh,
And
Well,
they
we knew
don't
that.
know
And they
why.
said it might have been okay, and they were going to come back
Yeah.
anyway. But they decided, nope, too much
Yeah,
helium loss.
They keep
Not
keep
okay,
finding
not okay.
They keep finding new holes basically. So they are still up
does
there
that mean
doing
all the astronauts would like really have really high voices as they were coming down?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we should send them a tweet. Hey, what's wrong with leaking helium? Sounds fun.
Just go breathe it in. Have some fun voices.
Yeah, like if you come out of the ship in the water and be like, "Hi," like that would be the best space return re-entry ever. Like if you open the capsule and they're like, "I'm doing fine," like it'd be great. Anyway, so yeah, Starliner did its thing. It blasted off. It was successful in its launch. People were super happy, even though they had some setbacks. But now it's becoming more of an issue. I don't have that article linked in the show notes because I just read it before the show started and I didn't want to add it in. But yeah, the helium. There's a problem now with helium. I don't know if they're gonna have to send up a Dragon capsule to retrieve these guys, or if they're
Boy, they
going to
better make a decision quick because that takes time to set up.
Yeah, right.
It's fine, Tony. It's fine.
So they're just doing. They get to do some extra days of sciencey stuff, right? Hopefully
More science.
Hopefully,
Who wouldn't want their
here we-
vacation extended, huh?
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, because
Here you
that's
go.
what
Lando, you
trip
ready
to
for
space-
this? Hopefully, their extended time up there doesn't hurt their bodies at all.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
what a great segue, Owen.
Boom. Ha.
So turns out we have new concern about traveling to Mars. So the
We
University
still want Elon
College,
to go, but
we want Elon to go for sure. That guy, go to Mars.
I'm glad
Go
you
for
got
it.
this article on here. I saw it this week and forgot that I saw it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, so the University College London has done a new study about space travel, specifically about space travel to Mars. And they're worried about astronauts' kidneys. So they're worried about the structure and the function of the kidneys being altered by spaceflight, with the galactic radiation causing permanent damage that would jeopardize any mission to Mars. This also includes things like
it shrinks them,
development.
right?
It shrinks them
right?
and develops
Yeah.
kidney stones and does all kinds of bad things.
Ooh,
Jeez.
That's
Welcome
not
to
worth
Mars.
any
I'm gonna
space
go
travel.
relieve. Welcome to Mars. I'm gonna go pee a golf ball. Hold on.
I'll be back. If you hear screaming,
Maybe.
don't worry about it.
It's not aliens.
It's
It's just
if you hear the screaming, stop. Come
Yeah.
check on me.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
Why can't
Don't-
space
don't
ever
leave me.
improve things? Why can't your kidneys get bigger instead of smaller?
Yeah. What happened to Fantastic
also
Four?
bad.
Fantastic Four went up to space and they got superpowers.
They got-
Why doesn't that ever
Right.
happen?
A little radiation. It seems like comic books always flip it.
So they say the primary reason that kidney stones developed during space missions had previously been assumed to be solely due to microgravity induced bone loss that leads to a buildup of calcium in the urine.
Okay.
Rather, the UCL team's findings indicated that the way the kidneys process salts is fundamentally altered by spaceflight,
So
and likely a
both.
primary primary contributor to the space or kidney stone formation.
Easy
Maybe they
enough. Rip
just have
salt
to-
out.
Yep, I was
Easy
gonna
enough.
say no salt on the trip.
No salt. You're
Just
dead.
barely enough that you can hit your minimum requirement as a human.
We're just
your
hooking up
body
to a
needs.
charger for electrolytes. That's what we do. It's electrolytes. It's what the body craves.
You
How do we
no-
know the Fantastic Four don't have kidney stones?
Oh,
You
good
know,
question.
we don't. They might.
That's the unglamorous part of being a superhero.
You'll never see the Invisible Woman's kidney stones.
So
right?
here's a quote from one of the authors.
Mr. Fantastic's kidney stones come out easy because he just stretches everything.
He can
so
just
it
do
fits.
that.
Okay.
Oh
all right.
yeah, there you go.
And the Thing's kidney stones are his
stones,
is
right?
him, you know.
He-
and the Human Torch just burns them up. So they
Yeah.
probably do.
Wow,
You go,
Tony,
you
that
go
was,
to a
that was
retire,
brilliant.
you go to a
was
superhero
good.
retirement center, and they're just like, nobody ever tells you about the kidney stones. Nobody,
Fantastic
Four,
Four,
when you're
got
saving
off
the
easy.
world, when you're saving the world, nobody ever tells you about going up there. Like, what is Stark? Stark doesn't got anything. He's got that suit, but I bet you that guy's riddled with kidney
So
stones.
many kidney stones.
Poor guy.
All of
So
them.
here's-
Maybe he didn't mind doing the snap because of that.
Yeah, see,
He's like,
He was
it's either do this or
he probably
face
like
kidney
suffer horribly with kidney
right,
stones.
right after the camera angle change, he was like, I also got rid of kidney stones for all of us. Like, I added that into the snap.
So I'll leave you with this quote from one of the authors, cited directly in the article. If we don't develop new ways to protect the kidneys, I'd say that while the astronaut could make it to Mars, they might need dialysis on the way back. We know the kidneys are late to show signs of radiation damage. By the time this becomes apparent, it's probably too late to prevent failure, which would be catastrophic for the mission's chances
How did
of
they
success.
know that? Have these
They're studying on
astronauts that
mice and
we've-
things.
Yeah.
Oh,
they'll
I was
probably
gonna,
do
okay.
that.
I was like, have these astronauts they've sent up there had really horrible times after they got back? But
I'm
yeah,
sure
so-
mice makes way more sense. I guess.
I'm
Yep,
sure
three-
they've also studied people that have radiation poisoning to see what it does to
Yeah.
all
Yep.
parts of their body.
So the kidneys of mice exposed to radiation simulating the GCR for 2.5 years experienced permanent damage and loss of function
Oofa.
in mice. So yeah, it's bad news bears. Again, I'm just full of bad news tonight, guys. I apologize.
I like this story though because
a
this is actually
downer.
a science journal. So this is from Science Daily, and they have the sources and the research stuff. If you want to go check the like, this is a really good article.
Yeah, you
a
know,
really
Jaron
good
was getting on
story.
my case for about bringing crap from TikTok, and I decided
No,
to show
no.
him up and bring
That was
bring
me.
real stuff.
It
That was
wasn't me. You're my
Oh,
best
Jared
friend,
was-
buddy.
Well,
that's
Jaron
true.
does too, but I was the most recent one. So I appreciate this. Real news backed
wanna-
up by science.
You want to know where I found this one, Tony?
Did you get it from TikTok?
TikTok, but I found
Well,
the source.
I was going to say
That
here's
is
the thing.
fine.
If
Yeah.
you find the source, I'm on board. Yep.
That's called media literacy right there.
Well done, Lando. Well done.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll take my win. All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
Speaking of social networks, some meta news. They are making their Threads API available to everyone. It's not quite old Twitter level API where anyone could just make a third-party app and have it be awesome like the old Twitter apps were. But maybe they'll go in that direction. But for now, it's more limited.
Interesting.
Like enabling third-party apps to publish posts to Threads and view and manage replies, interactions with their posts, stuff like that. So
It's interesting because I thought the age of free API access was dead because of AI and LLMs.
You would think,
Scraping that data. Almost everybody, including Facebook and Twitter and Reddit, have all shut that down and sell that as an access right now, like as a
All of a
their
sudden,
APIs don't enable that yet.
yeah. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, within the last 2 years, the neckbeards diatribe on why Star Wars sucks now on Reddit is valuable because it's data.
No, it's just
AI can
it's
absorb
humans
and-
Not
ranting,
great
right?
data.
You know?
It's just conversation. It just needs to learn conversation patterns, not
Exactly.
actual conversation, just
Right.
patterns. And there's plenty of people that can't not have the last word, you know. And I mean that's
So
Reddit's
many
whole.
people.
That's Reddit. That should be Reddit's like product marketing line because people can't not have the last word.
Or just get the last word.
Yeah, get the last word, Reddit.
All right, last stories. Tony, you got one, and I got one more. Go for it.
So Logitech revealed this crazy looking magic wand for the
Whoa.
Quest headsets.
Logitech's making magic wands now?
Yeah.
What kind of magic wand, Tony?
So it's a 3D stylus for the Quest 2 and Quest 3 headsets.
Okay.
It'll run about $130, and it looks like a really big Wacom tablet stylus, right? It even has a cradle that looks like the Wacom tablet cradles for the styluses, but it interacts with the Quest in a way so that you can draw on
inside.
2D.
I saw this,
You can
yeah.
draw on 2D surfaces if you want to draw like a sketch on a table or something, and then have it be in your virtual environment, or you can draw in 3D space
Yeah.
and do things in 3D space with it.
I saw that. Have you ever seen
actually
those
kinda cool
those,
looking.
those pictures that will turn? Like it looks like random squiggles and then the camera angle turns.
Yeah,
And a lot of people do that with shadow art. They'll do
or
like
wires or something.
or wires or some other. But I've seen some of the art. Like there's some videos on YouTube you can see where they're demoing that feature and seeing what those artists are doing with it. It's so cool. I'm not an artist, and so anytime I see actual art happening, I'm like, whoa, you can just make
just
that
make
out
that?
of
Yeah.
your brain? How do you
So
do that?
It
It's not colored by numbers.
Where are the numbers? How do you know what colors to use?
Yeah. Ooh.
It's got a pressure sensitive tip for when you are drawing on surfaces, and all the different accelerometers and everything that you need to do all the 3D movement in the air and whatnot.
I hope that if you swing it too hard, a little caution light comes up in the meta.
Whoa.
Hey, pal.
Whoa,
look,
whoa, whoa.
It's the difference between art and anger, okay? But
You can't swing it too hard with that pressure sensitive tip.
yeah, you got a pressure sensitive
be
tip, my
careful with
guy. Yeah, just a little. Huh?
So I'm trying to see if it has September. It'll be out in September.
Nice.
All right. Bad news for Fisker. We're going to end on a down note,
Oh,
which is
podcast
okay
been a
because
bummer.
it makes everyone feel hopeful because their life isn't this. They don't work for a company that's going bankrupt unless you are, and I'm very sorry. Anyway,
Floundering, Jaron.
Fisker, the maker
like
of the Ocean, which was
The ocean?
MKBHD's worst reviewed car ever.
Worst EV he ever reviewed.
Yeah,
It looks fancy. The Alaska.
I haven't even heard of the Alaska.
the
Well,
Ocean.
they're not
Picture-
going to sell
it's
the Alaska
it's-
anymore.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yep, it never even came out. But
Their truck is the Alaska. Yeah, well.
the Ocean SUV, it went on deep discount a couple months ago, like half price, and even then, it's like, well, this company's not going to stay around. That you're buying a brick, pretty much. Because unfortunately, with EVs, they are kind of like smartphones or games as a service. Dependent on the company that makes it.
updates, right?
Exactly. Yeah. As long as the company's around, you'll be able to get replacement parts. But until third-party manufacturers get on board, like what they are with internal combustion engines,
Right.
Good luck
Or until,
finding it.
Well, like,
or
what if
until
there's a
until they
software
standardize-
problem?
Until
Yeah,
they
that-
standardize, you know?
That's a problem too. The software might be even harder.
Yeah,
to,
it'd be impossible to fix. Like, what
yeah.
if they had a certificate expire, which made it
I've-
so you can't use your car anymore?
I've literally
gosh.
experienced. I literally experienced this
I
with
hate certificates.
with my. I had a what are those scooters called?
Lime,
The Vespa.
bird.
What do they call those? Vespas.
What are you talking about? Are you okay,
I'm
Owen?
telling you right now. I've had this experience. I bought an Italjet Vespa. It's a scooter,
it's
but
like
it was
a
a
Vespa?
It was like a Vespa competitor.
I see.
And I could not get parts because
Mm-hmm.
these guys I don't know, in Italy, apparently Vespas in the scooter world it's a big deal over there.
Yeah.
Big
Not so
business.
much over
And
here.
This Italjet company, they pissed off Vespa, or they pissed off somebody in Vespa or something, and some mob, basically the mob shut these guys down. Like it was like like on ships and shipping containers and stuff, but not in our port, and they would like break the bikes and stuff. Well, I had one of these Italjets because somehow one made it here to these States, and I literally had to call. I was trying to get a new carburetor, and I had to call over to the Italian warehouse, and I did not speak Italian, so I found a friend that did. And some nice old lady was like, "How did you get this number?" Basically, like, you know, how did you? I mean, I guess we could send you some parts. We've got them over here under the pizza dough, but like, it was anyway. Sorry, that was really bad. I
No, that was a
insulted.
great joke. I would have said pasta dough myself,
Yeah,
but still a
pasta
good joke.
sauce.
It works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah, like without the manufacturer supporting the stuff, like I just gave up. I ended up giving that scooter away because I couldn't get parts for it. Like,
Yep.
It was super frustrating.
Hmm.
Bill's Boneyard. If you need motorcycle parts and you want an adventure,
Bill's Boneyard.
go out to Magna and go to Bill's Boneyard. You will not regret it. It's good. Anyway.
Bill's Boneyard.
Owen knows how to show a girl a good time.
That's
Yeah,
right.
seriously.
Hey, babe.
And they've
We're gonna
got
head
two-
over to
they've-
Bill's Boneyard.
Yeah.
Is your name Bill? No, it's Owen. Actually.
Yeah, you
We're not
know-
going to my boneyard.
Yeah, we're gonna go to
That's
a party.
for the third
We're going-
date.
Yeah,
I've got a sensitive tip.
and they when I
It's
went
all
out there,
about
they,
rock dogging tonight.
and seriously, speaking of dogs, they had two giant Rottweilers out there that would chase motorcycle parts in the yard if you threw them for them, and they
Well,
would
yeah.
bring them back to you.
That's you have to have Rottweilers if you're. At
They
a
had
parts
no teeth.
junkyard.
Their
Yep.
teeth were completely smooth from chewing on motorcycle parts.
No.
Yeah,
What was-
just flat.
Did you
Anyway.
see that the last thing that Fisker did before?
What was the name of this place, Tony
Fis-
or Owen?
Bill's Boneyard out in Mag.
Lando's
out in
like,
the-
I'm planning my next date right
yeah.
now.
If you need motorcycle parts, I'm telling you.
Before Fisker declared bankruptcy, about a week before, they started selling their cars to their employees for 20 grand,
No, they
which
pimped
is
it.
like 30% of what
Yeah.
they were going for to the general public before they discounted them.
I feel bad for those employees.
Yeah.
They never released the Alaska, huh?
No,
Nope,
they never
they
got
never
that
did.
out.
That's just a concept photo.
Yep.
It looks neat.
It
It
does
did.
look neat, yeah.
That's the thing. From the outside, they looked good. I thought they were good-looking cars,
was-
and they had
was-
they had plenty of power and stuff, but they just weren't built good. They didn't have
Yeah.
their software was pure trash. Even
Is
after
that what
their
MKBHD said? Was
yeah,
that it
even
was-
after their 2.0 update that they said was going to fix everything, it was still dookie. And in something like that, if the software and firmware isn't good, it doesn't matter how good the hardware is.
I love
Yeah,
this. The
like you could just
inside-
tell it was constrained budgets, and they were trying to get it
Inside-
out and
well-
still make it.
Yep.
It just didn't
Well,
work.
Yep.
And they were trying to do. Have you guys ever heard of that sandwich shop, Even Stevens? Or
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great sandwich shop.
It's a great sandwich shop, but you know what they did? Every sandwich you bought, they bought one and gave it to a starving child or something. Like they would donate for every one sandwich that was bought. Their business model was we also buy one and
Yeah,
donate.
yeah,
Donate.
Kind of like
Well, these-
Tom's or whatever.
So inside the
Shoes.
cabin of the Ocean was an all vegan interior made from recycled fishing nets, old T-shirts, and renewed rubber. And that's just not profitable in this market. Like you can't sell a car with that. Like I know that people are like anti leather and whatever, but like trying to repurpose fishing nets and T-shirts and old rubber. You're
Yeah, they just-
spending the market's not there for that yet.
They just
to
melt
make
it
that.
down.
Yeah, but then you got to color it, you got to dye it, you got to clean it. You can't have. I mean, if you
true.
just wanted a marbleized color with like
That's
here's some
fair
melted
point.
plastic, you got to clean it. Tony, like if you ever try and like remelt down your 3D printing
Yeah, that doesn't
extras, you
work,
get you get the jungle juice,
Yep. Well, plus you got to consider. I mean, there's vegans, and it's a next level of vegan that doesn't want to have like leather on their shoes and stuff like that. You know, and
so that seems like a
it's
little
even
bit
more
of a niche market that they tried to get into, and anyway.
All right.
So fare thee well, Fisker. We
Sorry,
love you,
Fisker.
Noogie.
It was a good try.
And
This
all
was
the
their second try,
employees-
by the way. In case
it
you
was
guys
a good
don't
second
remember.
try.
and all the employees that they foisted these crappy cars onto.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I guess those guys are out of job, but they got the cars for 30% off, or
No,
something?
30% of cost.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
60% off.
60% off,
66
yeah.
or whatever.
So I guess
Yeah.
that's a parting gift.
Sounds like an expensive brick eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we'll call it a night. Thanks, everyone, for listening. But before we go, we're going to do a shout-out to our patrons.
Oh, I actually pulled it up if you want me to do it.
I do want you to do it, Tony.
Okay.
But Patreon is a way for you, dear listener, to give us a nice little tip. It's a digital tip jar for our
tip talk
show.
So much tip talk today.
Yeah, I
TikTok.
don't know how I feel about that.
Just the tip.
Yeah, there we go. It's a sensitive tip. Anyway, you also get a few benefits. What are the benefits, Lando?
You get access to the super secret, super awesome Discord channel for Patreon backers only. You get the show, not only one show, but both shows, and an included third bonus show early. The in-between. It's awesome. If you donate $6 or more, you get your name read off in the air, which Tony has for us right now.
I sure do. Big shout out to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, and Wiffleball Tony, our extra special tech daddies.
Let's go.
Let's see. Be the 8-year-old. Huevos Verdes con Jamon. Juan Ramon. John Eatman. Molehills, meatballs, molehills, meatballs, meatballs, molehills.
Nailed that.
Dang it, Tony.
No, wasn't even there.
I didn't even practice. That was my
Wasn't
first
even
run.
hard.
And Owen's codpiece.
Boom.
Love
All
that
right.
person.
Aaron Faulkner. Adam
That's
Hecht.
South America, by the way.
Eric Cruz, Eric Steinman, Harry Patch, Jeremy, Keslow, Matt Nelson, Michael Shane, No Name No Color, Ryan M, Stuart Lloyd, In Between rating plus 12.
That's how good it is, guys.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
The problem with society is there are no molehills that can't be mountain climbed over.
Dang it, Tony. Why
Nailed
don't
that
you
one,
just do this every week?
I'm good at reading.
It's not that hard.
And
Really.
Tony the Home Theater Geek. Thank you so much, Patreon backers.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Are you going to do the music, Tony?
Oh, I guess.
Yeah.
If I have
right.
to.
I guess I'll get that going for us. Yeah.
There we go. We will see you guys next week. And Lando, take us out.
If you need parts and you're looking for a good time for your sensitive tip, perfect for rock dogging, go to Bill's Boneyard. Be an end user.
That was good.
It's the best one you've ever done.
Yeah.